So the results technically aren't completely in, but it's pretty much a given that who how the New Hampshire primary will turn out with Romney at about 35%, Paul at about 25, at Huntsman 17 about, and um, I don't really care about the lower, but just lower, kind of lower double digit numbers for the rest. So Romney was pretty much assumed to win. I didn't really expect him to for Ron Paul to win whatsoever, but he definitely came in a very strong second, which I'm very proud of and I'm very happy about, and I really think it will mean a lot as the primaries continue. Now, as I'm making this video, Gingrich and Santorum are pretty much in a battle for fourth place, and if Santorum gets fifth or even fourth, that's really going to be a disadvantage for South Carolina the next primary in 12 days, I think. So throughout the whole race, there's been a anti-Romney candidate rising up, and it went from Bachman to Perry to Kane to Gingrich and now Santorum, and they've all risen and they've all fallen. Now, this poor performance on Santorum's part might prove to them that he might be able to actually beat Romney, while Ron Paul's strong second might show if they unite behind him, Romney might not be the nominee. The question is, who do they hate more, Romney or Ron Paul? Now, this poor performance on Santorum's part might prove to them that he might be able to actually beat Romney, while Ron Paul's strong second might show if they unite behind him, Romney might not be the nominee. The question is, who do they hate more, Romney or Ron Paul? Now, unfortunately, Ron Paul isn't doing so well in South Carolina right now in the polls. He's getting about fourth place, I believe. But, I mean, it's a whole 12 days away, so a lot can change that time. I mean, Rick Santorum, what, like 5 days before Iowa or a week, he completely surged and he did amazing. So, so I don't see why they can't have him for South Carolina, considering his very strong performance in New Hampshire. And like I said before, maybe the anti-Romney conservatives will very much back Ron Paul as an alternative to Mitt Romney because they see that Santorum can't beat Romney. I also don't think Huntsman will do very well in South Carolina. I just don't think it's their culture in South Carolina to like someone like Huntsman. Romney will probably do well some because he's the front runner, but probably not as overwhelmingly as New Hampshire. And I definitely see Paul getting a surge there, and I don't see it as unlikely in the slightest. While the candidates like Santorum and Huntsman and kind of Gingrich and Perry, they definitely appeal to certain groups. Ron Paul, you'll see, kind of appeals to, you can see his supporters, a solid base of support in about every state. He's in both Iowa and New Hampshire, very different states from each other, but he did about that same low to mid 20s, and that we can depend on to help win future states. And the important thing is, all the states before April 1st, except for Florida, the delegates are all apportioned, meaning for each percentage, for all the points we get delegates according to that. So Ron Paul should get about 25% of the delegates for New Hampshire. So we're definitely winning delegates, and we're definitely pretty much in second place right now, which is phenomenal. And I definitely see with his base of support still continuing to grow without declining at all. It'll eventually, as I thought, end up being a Romney versus Paul nomination, and it'll all boil down to that.